Okay, good evening and welcome to a regular meeting of the Oak Harbor City Council. It is Tuesday, April 6th, 2021, 6 p.m. That's the regular time and regular day for our meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order and can you hear me all right? Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order and invite you to stand and join us in an invocation tonight, led by Pastor Bahr from the Redeeming Grace Church. And immediately following the invocation, I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Bahr.
My Lord and my God, as we begin these proceedings, I begin first by giving thanks to you for the gift of civil government. Civil governments that you've placed all around the world throughout history for the protection of human societies, for their preservation and to maintain their order. I'm thankful for this particular assembly this evening, especially for each member of the City Council. I ask that you would guide them individually and collectively this evening, that you would give to them wisdom, that deliberations would be peaceable and productive. I ask that any decisions made would be just, lawful, and wholesome. And I pray these things in the name of my Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Bahr. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for us all. So due to COVID-19, there is no physical meeting location per Washington Proclamation 20-28. Tonight's meeting may be viewed live via YouTube and replayed on cable channel 10. In addition, the public may call 623-404-9000 and enter the meeting ID number, and that number is 149-766-1467 to listen to the meeting live, and this is for audio only. Council members and city staff are participating being teleconference. The staff sitting in council chambers are all physically distanced at least 6 feet apart and will be wearing masks when they are not speaking. Guests that are included in staff presentations will be excused from the Ring Central meeting at the conclusion of the agenda item as appropriate. So I'd like to begin then by asking our city clerk to please call our roll for this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem Munns.
Present.
Councilmember Heisen.
Present.
Councilmember Servadius.
Present.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Present.
Councilmember Wiesner.
Present.
Mayor, Council members Mack and Goebel have indicated that they are absent this evening and will need to be excused.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to excuse council members Mack and Goebel. Councilor Servadius.
I move to excuse Councilmember Mack and Goebel.
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to excuse council members Mack and Goebel. Motion by Councilor Servadius, second by Mayor Pro Tem Munns. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand. I think that passes unanimously. Okay, thank you. So we will move on now to our agenda, and unless there are suggested changes, we will accept the agenda and move forward as presented. Looks like we're okay with that. Good. We have actually an item under section number 2, presentations, honors, and recognitions / community presentations. We are pleased tonight to have Laura Reniger, who is the president of the Oak Harbor Garry Oaks Society, with us. Welcome, Laura. It's my understanding that you are joining us this evening to talk about some gifts that you have. So I won't spoil that. I'll just turn the meeting to you, Laura. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Okay, great. So thank you, Mayor, Council. It's a pleasure to be here again tonight. And so what we're doing is we're kicking off the celebration of the Year of the Oak. And the Oak Harbor Garry Oaks Society designed and purchased lapel pins, which I believe you've received by now, to selectively distribute as a keepsake for our group members and our partners, such as the City of Oak Harbor. So the mayor, each city council member, historic commission member, arts commission member, planning commission member, parks board, etc., and all city staff employees are to receive a pin. The phrase on the front of the pin is Year of the Oak with a Garry Oak tree image depicted. On the back are stamped the words Oak Harbor Garry Oaks Society 2021. Each pin comes mounted on a card announcing the Year of the Oak. The beautiful oak tree depicted, easily several hundred years old, is from the Rector Farm off Monroe Landing Road in Oak Harbor. One of the ways we are encouraging people to celebrate the Year of the Oak is to take a picture of yourself with your favorite local Garry Oak tree and post on social media. To that end, and as part of our mapping work and tree inventory, the Oak Harbor Garry Oaks Society created a website containing the location of Garry Oaks in Oak Harbor. It's definitely a work in progress. But if you visit www.soundoaks.org, you can click on areas to see where public oaks are found. So please, as the spring season gets underway, take the opportunity to help promote our legendary oaks and spread the word. Finally, there's been a lot published in the news in the last year about the presence of urban trees increasing our sense of well-being and even improving mental health. In closing, I'd like to share an excerpt of a poem by the English poet John Keats, written in 1818. Okay, so I want you to think of a beautiful old oak tree in full leaf with birds singing and the sun on your face. Okay, are you there? A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. So let's get outside and show our community spirit by promoting the Year of the Oak. Wear your pin, okay? And let's increase appreciation of our heritage oak trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I know I speak for staff and council in thanking you and your Garry Oaks Society, all of your membership for your service to our community. We'll wear our pins with pride. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move on now to section 3 of our agenda, citizen comment period. Citizens may comment on subjects of interest not listed on the agenda or items listed on the consent agenda. Items may also, or citizens may also comment on corresponding agenda items. To submit a comment, please use the online comment form at www.oakharbor.org/public comment or email the city clerk. Her email is jlindsay@oakharbor.org. Please do that prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting, or call 360-279-4539 to leave a voicemail to be played during the council meeting. Call to leave a voicemail after 5 p.m. on the Friday preceding the meeting and prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. When leaving a voicemail for public comment, please state your name first and name clearly and limit comments to 3 minutes. While not submitted as specific to this evening's council meeting, the city did receive the following additional comments since our March 16th council meeting. These comments are provided here on the screen as part of the meeting record and were forwarded to the city council. So we'll show those public comments now. Okay, thank you, staff, for putting those up for us to read. We will now move on. I believe that concludes our citizen comment period. We will move on then to item number 4 on our agenda, which is our consent agenda. And I believe we have under item section 4, we have items number A through C. Or E, I'm sorry, A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, I see Mayor Pro Tem.
There, sorry, I had trouble unmuting. I'd like to pull 4C, Memorandum of Understanding with the City of Oak Harbor and the Whidbey Island Art Council, please.
That was item number C, correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
Memorandum, okay. Okay. And seeing no other hands, then the items A, B, D, and E will be accepted as presented. Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, go ahead.
My question is, in the description, this is $1,000 going to the Whidbey Island Arts Council that is located in Langley. It's an online learning, and they talk about art supplies. Are the art supplies for the instructors, or somehow will they get it to the children? And the second part of that is, how will they advertise it? been associated with several nonprofits, and it seems like if it is located in the South End, then that money is only used for South End residents and children there, and if it's our taxpayers' money, I'd like to be sure that that $1,000 is benefiting the kids in our area. There may be some outside of the area, but predominantly. So that's my question on that.
And Mayor, I could take the questions if you want.
Okay, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, I don't believe Gideon's here, but he's still new on this issue. This is the third year that we've done this gift, and you raised some good questions. And so when the discussion with vetting this on the Arts Commission, I think they adequately answered those questions and said that the funds are for Oak Harbor students. And we also expanded back when I first came on and started servicing as staff to the Arts Commission. We expanded the definition and the use of the fund to allow this type of activity. So it certainly is going to students in the Oak Harbor area.
All right, is there, at the end of the year, will there be some accountability? I mean, it's not that, it's great. I was an art teacher, K through 12. So I believe in this very strongly. I just want to be sure the money is being spent where they said it is, instead of just handing over $1,000 and that it's supposed to be there. So that's just some sort of accountability that we will get back a report.
One of the good things is we do a professional service agreement that has deliverables rather than just making this as a donation. So we can make sure when we go to pay it, that we get the deliverables and that it benefits Oak Harbor students. So I can make sure that we do that. And I believe it's listed in there in the professional service agreement too, that it has some stipulations there. So we don't view this as a donation. We view this as a payment for services. So that allows more accountability, what you're talking about.
Okay, thank you very much. No, this is a wonderful idea, especially now, but I just want to be sure that it is offered to up here where our tax money is helping pay for this. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a motion then to pass or item number 4C.
I will be happy to move that we accept 4C on the consent agenda for approval.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to accept item number 4C as presented on the consent agenda. Motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Councilor Servadius. Seeing no other questions, all in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Julie, you're going to have to help me on this tonight.
Yes, Mayor, that is a unanimous.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on then to the next item, 5A, which is mayor comments, community response to COVID-19. City facilities remain open, but we continue to have many options to conduct business and connect with staff virtually, electronic bill pay, virtual development application meetings, virtual boards and commission meetings, and an online comment portal are just a few of the ways in which we continue to meet the needs of the community during this pandemic. More details and resources about the local impact of COVID-19 can be found on our website, and that's www.oakharbor.org/COVID-19. Vaccinations, the community guidance from Island County Public Health shows an uptick in cases. For information on vaccinations, see the link to Island County Public Health's COVID-19 vaccination information page from our city website and Facebook page. Please continue saving lives by practicing the 3 W's. Wear your mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands. And if you have any COVID symptoms, please get tested. If you feel you've been exposed in any way, please get tested. Oak Harbor Fire Department assists in vaccine clinic. Our own Oak Harbor Fire Department recently provided 12 people to assist with vaccinators at a clinic on March 27th. And at a clinic prior to that, they provided 8 people. On Saturday, they served over 1,900 people through the clinic. There were a total of 20 people doing vaccinations on site. And at any given time, 9 of those were our fire department personnel. They started with setup at 7 a.m. and concluded just after 4 p.m. Assisting were Oak Harbor Fire Department. From our fire department were Captains Anderson, Schroer, Anima, and Engel, firefighters Holcomb, Fixie J and Fixie B, Frondozo, Sokia, and Greenberg, and Chief Buxton and Chief Merrill. Chief Merrill called it a day well spent helping the community. Many, many thanks to our firefighters for all of that time and effort. Thank you. City meetings remain virtual at this time. At the March 16th regular council meeting, City Attorney Grant Weed reviewed the legal provisions. Reviewed the legal provisions for resuming in-person meetings and the requirements for doing so. This would include allowing only a 25% capacity in council chambers, maintaining a 6-foot physical distance, wearing masks, and the ability to have the meeting available for public attendance. Considering the limited capacity of council chambers, any in-person meetings having public in attendance or more than minimal staff attendance would have to either be canceled or moved to another location. Filming would still be required. Such a move would have to be noticed in advance. With this considered at this time, virtual meetings will continue until these requirements are no longer needed. Opportunity Council relief funds available. Great news for our utility customers. The Opportunity Council has COVID relief programs that allow them to pay or assist in paying water, sewer, and garbage fees for qualifying clients. Beginning around mid-April, last year, the city received 35 payments totaling over $23,000 from the Opportunity Council, a private nonprofit community action agency. Tree City USA. Oak Harbor has once again been designated a Tree City USA for the past year of 2020 per a letter we received from the National Arbor Day Foundation. City employment opportunities. The city is currently accepting applications for a temporary accountant. More information and instructions on how to apply can be found at our city website, www.oakharbor.org/jobs. With that, then I'll turn to City Council for council comments. Okay, not seeing any. We'll take right off into our public hearings and meetings. We actually have nothing under that section, so we'll go on to section 7, ordinances and resolutions. Tonight we have ordinance 7 under 7A. We have ordinance number 1925, amending OHMC 15.04.140 solid waste management and Oak Harbor Municipal Code 15.04.180 yard waste relating to roll cart cleaning charge. And tonight, I believe our Central Services Supervisor, Sandra Place, is here to present that. Sandra, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I've been asked to present this item to you this evening. And as the Mayor said, this pertains to ordinance number 1925. I'll go ahead and share my screen for you. So per OHMC 1504-140, the customer is responsible to keep their containers maintained and serviceable for dumping or hauling. The containers must be kept in a sanitary condition, free from accumulated grease and decomposing materials, with the outside clean. The city receives calls from customers requesting a clean garbage, recycling, or yard waste container. This is predominantly after crabbing season when they've used it for their crabbing debris. Another example would be when they decide to discontinue their yard waste service for the 3 months, saving them $12. And then they restart the service again. The solid waste staff changes out the roll carts with the clean container as a free service because it is not currently on the master fee schedule. This trip fee, there is a trip fee for any other service, and that's at $27.60. Staff is proposing the same fee for this service, and it accounts for the labor and equipment that it takes to provide the service. The service is requested approximately 12 times per year, so it's not heavily used, but it is there. OHMC 1504-180 says that the solid waste utility will deliver a yard waste roll cart to the customer and shall charge a special trip fee per OHMC 1504-120. What is being proposed is to change the wording to say the solid waste utility will deliver a yard waste roll cart to the customer and a special trip fee per OHMC 1504-120, and cart cleaning charge per OHMC 1504-140 will be added to the customer's account. This amendment is defining the amount of the cleaning fee on the master fee schedule. It adds a roll cart cleaning fee to the OHMC and changes the verbiage of the OMHC to cover the costs of the city for providing the service to our customers. So the recommended action this evening is to approve this ordinance number 1925 as presented, and I will stand for any questions that you have.
Thank you, Sandra. Before we turn to council, I want to make sure we've had no input from our public on this. Julie?
That's correct, Mayor. We received no public comment regarding this item.
Thank you. So we'll go to council with questions. Councilor Servadius.
Thank you, Sandra. I'll support this. Quick question. It was probably many years ago. I don't even remember. I had my cart replaced because it had cracked. I don't know if it's from the jaws of the truck. Do we get any calls like that? What happens if somebody's cart is damaged, really no fault of their own? Would we replace that or would we charge them a fee?
No, we would definitely just replace it. No fee is charged.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, not seeing any other questions. I see you still have your hand up, Councilor Servadius.
Sorry, Mayor. I was delinquent. I see Councilmember Wassinger has her hand up.
Ah, good. There we go. I can see that now too. Councilor Wassinger.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I meant to take my hand down. I had the exact same question that Councilmember Severns did, that if a cart was accidentally damaged, if we would charge the ratepayer, but the question was answered. So thank you.
Great job. We got 2 questions answered at once. Any other questions? Okay. Councilor Servadius.
Sandra, if you would bring that recommended action back up, I'm happy to make it.
I'd be happy to. One moment, please.
Just scrolling down, I thought it was page 117 here, but I got off in my packet.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, it's 117. Okay, I move to approve ordinance number 1925 as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 1925 as presented. Councilor Servadius, second by Mayor Pro Tem Munns. Seeing no other questions or input, all in favor, please raise your hand.
That is unanimous, Mayor.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members.
Thanks, Sandra. Nice job. So we'll move on to item number 7B at this time, resolution 21-13, amending the master fee schedule. And I believe for this evening, we have our Brett Vinson from City Attorney's Office. Brett? Oops, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, Mr. Mayor?
There you go now.
Okay,
Good.
great. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I am grateful for the opportunity to present to you Resolution 2113, Master Fee Schedule Amendment. As council is aware, City of Oak Harbor has, like many other cities, removed all of the various fees from throughout the city code and has put it in a single resolution that will allow both the council as well as the public greater access and transparency into the fees that the city is, as well as it makes it easier for the city to update and amend those fees from time to time. Before you tonight is a resolution that is essentially a cleanup resolution that adds certain fees that the council has already previously adopted through other legislative actions. For example, the cart clean, the rollout cart clean fee is included in this resolution as reflected in Schedule B. There is also in Section B, an update to the fireworks sale permit, and that is a fee that is now $75. There was a correction in the ordinance, in the master fee schedule to a subsection for the mobile home review fee, and that now is reflected correctly and properly in this resolution. And finally, in Schedule F of the attached resolution, there is a fee that is going to be charged for the sports season, and for each participant that is going to be participating, that'd be $8.50 per participant. And then if an individual wanted to have a special fee, would be $200 per day. This resolution has been reviewed by myself and Anna, and we find that it is appropriate and ready to be adopted. And therefore, we request approval of Resolution 2113 as presented.
Okay, thank you, Brett. We'll move to our city clerk, make sure that we've had no inquiries or input from the public regarding this.
That's correct, Mayor. We received no public comment regarding this item.
Thank you, Julie. We'll then turn to council. Councilor Servadius.
I think Councilmember Heisen had her hand up first.
Yeah, that could be. I'm needing help from the clerk tonight on finding those hands.
I'll let Councilmember Heisen go first.
Okay, Councilor Heisen.
I was just going to make the motion. So, Councilmember Servadius, if you have a, go ahead.
I do. Schedule, I'm scrolling down here trying to get Schedule F. Did you say, Mr. Vinson, and made this Bailiwick or someone else there, Sandra, representing Public Works, $8.50 per participant to reserve a field?
Yes, Schedule F is, I had to scroll down quite a ways. You'll see thumbs in there. If you keep going, then you'll start to see D and E, and eventually you'll get to F. But pursuant to Chapter 6.12.0971C, the reservation of city fields, the season reservations fee to reserve field for a sports season is $8.50 per participant due at the end of the applicable sports season. And then the reservation fee is $200 per day.
So I understand, Councilmember Wassinger, I may weigh in on you here, if that's realistic with all your work with Oak Harbor Little League. Because what I want to make sure is we don't have kids that go down there and practice, and them $8.50 per participant every time they practice.
No. Oh, excuse me. I can give some perspective, Mayor Severns, if that's all right.
Yes, certainly. Go ahead. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Well, if this is similar to the past rules, codes, is that a sports league, a football team, a soccer team, a little league, the organization signs the agreement with the city for the field use. And even back years ago when I was really involved with Little League, the fee was $7 or $7.50 per participant. But that wasn't per the whole season, for the whole year. So at the end of this summer, for example, when the ball teams, the little leagues were done playing, we gave the city the number of participants. Let's say it's 100 participants, and then the city would bill us the $7.50. And again, that was years ago, per participant, just a one-time bill for the whole year. So I'm assuming this is similar. It's just gone up to $8.50. So not unrealistic to me, if that's sort of how it's done. Thank you.
That is
All right.
absolutely correct. I pulled up City Code 6.12.0972C, and it is a special event fee to reserve the field for the entire, 1C, it's for the entire season. And it's exactly as you had indicated. It's at the end of the season, they look at how many participants there were, and then they calculate the fee based upon that. It's not each and every time they come out. It's a single one-time charge.
Okay, and I see that. Thank you on page, finally found it down there at page 219 in our packet. And then I guess last but not least, special event of city fields. I understand, let's say somebody wanted to have a family reunion, but I've seen kids practicing in Windjammer as well, soccer. How does that work? We're not charging them to go out there and practice. Does that fall under the $8.50 per participant? And that's just included and they get access to Windjammer or some of our other parks? I guess the question is, the special event exclude the little leagues and the athletic events, and we're thinking that's more family reunions or some kind of a gathering like that?
Mayor, I can answer
That's my
that.
understanding. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I can't raise my hand because I'm the host. Councilmember Servadius, so the fee that Councilmember Wassinger explained is correct for the sports leagues, and that's through an agreement, so that's separate from the special events process. And then the field use per day would go along with a special event permit. Currently, the only reservable facilities for any park are the actual kitchens or gazebos or what have you. And oftentimes we have sports that come and they want to do like the 3-day weekend soccer tournament that happens at Fort Nugent. So that actually allows them to reserve the fields. In the past, we have not had a fee structure for that. And so this helps clarify the use of the field for that exact event.
Okay, super. Thank you, Lisa. That's all.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Councilor Servadius. Thank you. Any other, seeing no other questions? Go back to Councilor Heisen.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to adopt Resolution 21-13 as presented.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve Resolution 21-13 as presented. That motion was made by Councilor Heisen, second made by Councilor Wassinger. All in favor, please raise your hands. And Julie,
Mayor, that is approved unanimously.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate your help on looking for the hands tonight. Thank you, Julie. So we'll move on then to item number 7C, which is Resolution 21-14, selecting the Master Plan Concept 2, Phase 1 for the creation of the Harbor Heights Sports Complex. And I believe we have our communications IT manager, Sabrina Combs, tonight for that. Sabrina?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is in regards to the item that we presented at workshop. We have created the resolution based on the feedback from Council, and preparing the items for the next phase of the grant process. So the recommended action tonight is to move to adopt Resolution 2114, selecting the master plan concept 2, phase 1 for the creation of the Harbor Heights Sports Complex.
Okay, so thank you, Sabrina. I'll turn to our city clerk to make sure that we've had no input on this from the public,
That's
or perhaps.
did receive one public comment,
Yeah, okay,
and it is now displayed on the screen.
okay. Okay, so we've had that comment and no others, Julie, correct?
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So I'll turn to council.
No hands up yet, Mayor.
Okay. I see Councillor Servadius, I think, was just barely ahead of Council Wassinger.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Wassinger, I don't know if you're going to make the motion or had a comment. I was just going to make the motion.
Oh, thank you. I was just gonna, you didn't put the picture up on the screen. I was waiting for that next little slide I saw on your PowerPoint, but I say that because, oh, there it is. You found it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I saw it there on your slides. I just wanted to make sure that the public saw, on the screen, if anyone watches or goes back to see all of the fields. Just a comment that when I see this and I see the number of those fields, it makes my heart very happy for the children and for our community. And I know this is just a phase 1 for soccer, but it's still exciting to get it started. And I also wanted to comment that I think it's important to see all the parking in here. I think that, the way that our fields are now and where they are in our city and the locations parking, of course, it has been an issue at all of the ball fields. Fort Nugent may be the only one that right now has kind of adequate parking, but all the other parks, it's kind of tough. So I'm happy to see the parking and the number of fields in this layout. So I just wanted to make that comment, and I fully support this, of course, and have at it, Councilmember Servadius.
Thank you. So, okay, Mayor, I move to adopt Resolution 21-14, selecting the master plan concept 2, phase 1 for the creation of the Harbor Heights Sports Complex.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second that reads exactly like the recommended action before you right now. The motion was made by Councillor Servadius, second by Councillor Heisen. Any other input or questions? Seeing none, I'll ask you to raise your hands in favor. Any?
Mayor, that carries unanimously.
Carries unanimously. So thank you very much, Council. We will move on then to Section 8. of our agenda. And that is the Oak Harbor School District lease agreement for Fort Nugent Park. It's my understanding we have Mr. Oborn and potentially some other staff to present this at this time. Mr. Oborn.
All right, I'll go ahead and do the presentation, but I wanted to acknowledge additional staff here for questions that you might have. Brett Benson from Legal, and then also from Public Works, we have Sandra Place and Tally Huck to give some more background that I might not have. So it was recently discovered that we're coming off a 25-year lease with the school district, and part of the reason why we're moving ahead with phase 1 of the Harbor Heights project is the eventual elimination of soccer fields at the Fort Nugent Park. And it's basically been for the 25 years of this lease, it's been a shared relationship where they own half the school district owns half the property and we own the other half, but we treat it as the entire 40-acre parcel as a city park. And so with school moving ahead with some possible development in the future, in negotiation with them, they didn't want to extend it another 25 years. They don't see construction starting anytime before February 2023, assuming they have a bond pass in next year in February 2022. So they went ahead and negotiated. We went ahead and negotiated with them, extending the lease through February 2023, and then it's on a month-to-month after that. So if they don't move ahead with the school, we'll continue to utilize it as is. So if we can go to the next slide, kind of gives you the overview here. So the west parcel is owned by the school district. And certainly we're not sure how much will be consumed by the planning of a future school there. But we'll certainly negotiate with them. And then of course, the east parcel is owned by the city directly and won't be affected by a future school. So with that, take any questions you have. And just to close up, recommendation of staff is to authorize the mayor to sign the amendment attaching extending the lease agreement for use of Fort Nugent Park with the Oak Harbor School District from May 31st, 2021 to February 28th, 2023. And then, like I mentioned, then the lease goes to a month-to-month thereafter. So I'm here with staff to answer any questions you might have.
So before we do that, we'll make sure that we've got no public input. Julie?
That's correct, Mayor. We received no public comment on this item.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, we'll turn back to council for comments, questions, motions.
Seeing no hands, Mayor.
Okay. Councilor, boy, that's so close. Councilor Servadius and Councilor Wassinger are just, I'm going to go to Councilor Wassinger first. Councilor Wassinger?
Funny, thank you. I was just going to go ahead and make the motion if there's no other questions.
It doesn't look like it.
Okay, then I move to authorize the mayor to sign the amendment attached extending the lease agreement for the use of Fort Nugent Park with the Oak Harbor School District from May 31st, 2021 to February 28th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. The motion, it reads exactly like the recommended action in your packet. That motion was made by Councilor Wassinger, and it was seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Munns. So seeing no other questions or input, I'll ask you all in favor to please raise your hands. And Julie, help me count.
Mayor. Right now we have 4 hands in favor. And I do not have a vote from Councilmember Wiesner. There we are. Now we have 5 in favor, Mayor. That passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Council. We'll move on then to
Oh, Mayor. I think
Mayor, your sound went off, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to our last item for this evening. Am I right? Yes. Our last item is item number 10, Transportation Benefit District Annual Report. And tonight for this, we have our City Finance Director, David Goldman. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. David Goldman, Finance Director. This is an information item and is the annual report that is required per the Transportation Benefit District Ordinance that was adopted by the City Council and which the sales tax was subsequently approved by the voters in November of 2019. This new sales tax started generating revenues for street improvements in April of 2020. The sales tax will expire after 10 years unless it's renewed by the voters. Revenue generated by this sales tax is estimated to be in the neighborhood of about $1 million annually. The funding from this sales tax is geared towards improvements of local streets within the city limits. There are other sources of funding to improve major and minor arterials and collector roadways, but local streets did not have a dedicated funding source that was just for local streets until this TBD was passed by the voters. There are approximately 148 lane miles of streets in the city limits. 103 lane miles of those 148 miles are local streets. The Street Saver Management Plan analyzed the existing conditions of Oak Harbor's roadways and generated a list of deficient roads and approximate levels of preservation. Oversight of projects is conducted by the mayor and the City Council of the City of Oak Harbor. So in this annual 2020 report, the city generated almost $800,000 of funding for local streets from April of 2020 to the end of the year. $317,000 was expended in 2020 on street preservation activities, leaving an ending balance of about $476,000. This map and the maps on the next page are all available online at www.oakharbor.org/TBD. That's in case anybody is having difficulty reading this. It's kind of hard to see, and also in case somebody wants to examine these maps a little bit more closely. The roadways in red and blue on the map are street improvements that were funded by the TBD, while the two areas in green are arterials, and those were funded by other funding sources. This is a list of streets and the type of improvements that was made to them in 2020. This map shows upcoming TBD projects for 2021 that were included in the 6-year capital improvement plan. There's streets in red, and there's also streets in green as well, with different types of overlays to repair those streets. And staff, including public works staff, is available to field any questions you have on this information item.
Okay, thank you, Dave. I'm not going to turn to the clerk. This is an information item, not an ordinance or a contract. So I assume she would probably stop me if we had any kind of input from the public regarding this anyway. But I'll turn to the City Council at this time and see if there's any questions or input.
Seeing no hands, Mayor.
Okay. Sounds like you covered it pretty well, Dave.
Thank you.
Then we will, then at this time, we'll turn back to our regular agenda, which is concluded. And unless staff has, or unless council has any other comments at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Thank you very much for your work and your time. We appreciate it, council, and to you citizens out there, thank you very much.